Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Good to Sichas Halak Base, Chag Shavuos. So yesterday we were discussing the whole idea of Chitas. Now, Chitas is very much connected to Shavuos, as Matan Teresenu, and of course we said not just learning Chitas, but learning Shavuos and Mantei, that called Talmud Vasik L'Chadish, everything was given by Moshe Sinai. Meaning anything that we learned today that it's new, it all was given to us already. Meaning it's not new. And then we also had a discussion, we sort of forgetting about the fact that like learning how to actually accomplish your goals in learning. So it's good to have goals, good to figure out how to accomplish it. And now we're going to discuss today, that we're going to go into a discussion on the Eight Haras of what stops us. Let's see. Yud Ches. And that's the last thing we said yesterday was that through doing Chitas and learning Chitas, that's the Achana that brings about Mashiach. Say Ches, Yud Ches. Atam l'kach Torah nisna midbar. So the reason why the Torah is given in the deserts. Who Lamadena can teach us that Kashem Shebe Midbar, who Makaim Hefker, Vein Allah Adin, just like in the desert, that it's a Hefker place. No one really owns the desert. It's Hefker. And there's no, Vein Allah Adin, master over it. Kach Gamater, so too with the Torah, Ein Alea Balabais. There's no owner of the Torah. V'chol Echad Mishtayich the Torah. And everyone has a relationship, a connection with Torah. When you learn, it becomes yours. Meaning, and this is a very important principle, and this is one of the 12 psukim the Rebbe wanted to emphasize that the kids should appreciate that no one should ever come and say the Torah is not mine. Only if I'm like, the Talmud Chacham owns the Torah, and I don't own the Torah. And if I'm lucky enough, they'll be nice to me and they'll let me learn it a little bit. And it's not how it works. The Torah is your yid, it's yours. And that's why the Torah is given a desert, because just like a desert that is not owned, no ownership. So to the Torah, there's no ownership. Moshe doesn't say, it's not Moshe saying, it's my Torah, and I'm going to do with you. If you're going to be nice to me, I'll give it to you, I'll let you use it. It's your yid, it's yours. And we're going to explain how the implications of that idea. And but nevertheless, why was the Torah given in the desert? Eretz, Tzia, V'aye, Mayim, parched desert with no water. B'li levushim, without garments. B'li mazayim, without sustenance, without food. V'afilu b'li mayim, without water. K'fi shakasum, she'amalbushim, gadlu etzel yisrael b'midah. Like we see by the Yidden in the desert, their clothing had to go with them. And the food had to be man. But there was no food there. There was no clothing there. And through a rock, there was like a well that was produced. Meaning, by nature, there was none of these things. She came midbar chasakol, because in the desert is nothing. The lam is not imkain davka midbar shmama. So why was the Torah given in the desert? It's desolate. So you're saying there's no owner. And everyone's an owner, but still, it's an intense environment. There's nothing to survive there. You need help from the outside. It's not a regular environment. So marshal shel Torah. Now, a marshal of the Torah, mechavin hu v'chol prat lenimshal. Every detail in the marshal, in what it's trying to explain, it also works in the nimshal. Now, generally, when you say a marshal, doesn't work the same, but there's an idea it's trying to give over. And so that idea in the marshal works, not the whole marshal. If you're having if the marshal, the whole story about a king going on a trip, not every part of that marshal really applies. It'll be just certain parts of it. And sometimes people come and try to analyze the whole marshal. And I say, no, that's not what I'm trying. Not that point. Don't minus that point. But they're saying when you have a marshal from Torah, it's exact, and everything there is needed. So Therefore, we have to say, Kikol hapratim hamatsuyim bamidbar. Every detail that we find in the desert is connected with Matan Torah. Now, if we said before, there's no earners, that's one detail. Shalmakam hefker. It's a hefker place. It's an open, empty place. But not more of the details. But we have more details, like we just said. We have the details, of the fact there was no water and the fact that they had no clothing and the food, and all these things had to be given to them, and for them to sustain. So all those details really fit in, and we're going to discuss all those details. Let's see. New test. When you come to Lanteira, Tough was Tainos, Shell, Hamnius, Shainos, are feeling a little mood. The Tainos, Shainos, and Umshanois. Everyone knows, and if you pay attention to yourself, you'll see this. When it comes to learning Torah, we always find excuses not to learn. There's always something comes up. I'm tired, I don't have a chavrusa, it's not for me, I don't need to learn so much. And it's funny because the older you get, you get married, you have kids. It's like there's classes for that Ma'an Yilmudu came out for women, Seder Nashim. All these halachas that are practical for women, Hilchos Shabbos, Hilchos Nida, Hilchos Kashrus, and what you notice is that the people that join on the course, I think most of them, not all of them, are all married. And so my wife and I were laughing about it, how when you're married, you have kids, you don't have time, you realize how important it is to learn. And so then you're making the effort to go. You spend the money, you allocate the time. But the people that aren't married and they have the time, they don't appreciate it. So it's like you come to say, 1 second, I understand. You have an opportunity to learn all these important fundamental halachas that you really have a good basis of background of understanding. It could really transform your life and your understanding of Torah and your ability to keep Torah. So why didn't they do it? It's so funny. Like you have the time, you don't have time. You can't say you have less time than someone married with kids. But this is the excuses that we all have to ourselves. We make excuses, when I'm older, I want to have more time, when I have more money. And there's all the excuses that are given in the world. Yeah, Kishabal Esek Nidrash Likvoy Itim Torah. So when a person's in business and they have their business and they have to set time to learn Torah, so what do they say? It's not my thing. Learning Torah is not my thing. Hu Bal Esek, I'm a businessman. B'shayach l'nisin tzedakah. I am shayach to give tzedakah. But not to learn Torah. I'm in the world of business. When me and learning Torah, it's two separate things. I'll give tzedakah. That's my thing. Who you there? And we have these all things. I'm a baal. I do mitzvahs. I enjoy certain mitzvahs. But he's saying, don't forget, you can't forget the Torah. Who you there? Ki baal esek tzarich leinatek me'askav l'isbal mincha. Now this baal esek, this business person, they learned and they understand that when it comes to davening mincha in the middle of work, they have to leave in the middle and go daven mincha. Mincha is a very hard time to daven. One time I was at a February on Purim, and it was a few years ago, and there was a guy for bringing how he has a hard time davening mincha every day because it's literally in the middle of his work. I guess he works starting later, and and he said it's very hard. Sometimes he misses. And he was saying how, taking a chata that he wants to make sure to daven mincha every day, make sure to set that time. So if someone is on that level and is holding like that, I appreciate very much the honesty and it was very good. Some people didn't like it, but anyway, so it sounds like that. What is he saying to himself? You're going to tell him? He's not thinking. I have to also have a kaviyas itim l'Torah. I have to have set times to l'Torah. I'm barely davening mincha. That's my challenge. Who you there? Who bal tzvil l'isbal mincha? Ukiyadua zui ma'il tzvil mincha ad shigam alea loy nena ela tfilas. Hamincha. Ve'uladidoi harei zeh kavar his amtzus dai gdela. L'shem ma tevi menu lilmud Torah dafka. Someone like that, it's hard enough to set myself some time to daven mincha. I have to also learn Torah, to have a set time to learn Torah every day. It's hard enough mincha. I'm struggling with the mincha. Also learn Torah. I'm a businessman. When they were asking him, learn some chumash with Rashi. Mashmiyahu Tana. He argues back. Chassidus says you have to be organized. You have to go levels. Allah Vefer Kredim Ko. First, I have to, before everything, Lamale Bishlemus Kolnyana, have to take care of myself. Alit Tfilas Mincha, Ka'alihu, Eliyahu Navi. I have to do Mincha first, like Eliyahu Navi. And only then I go to high level. I'm struggling with Mincha, and you're telling me to learn, to be a chassid, I have to be organized. And first, I'll have to work on my Mincha. When I finish being able to set my Mincha properly, then we'll talk about learning. Who ate a mishtamet chumash and Rashi, and so therefore doesn't go learn chumash with Rashi. Oitanya, ach, hakol beitay. But everything's in his time. Ukushel yispane me'askav v'seder mesuder. But he says himself, I'm an organized person. When I get organized and after work, when I have time and all the excuses, then I'll do learning, and not that. And the point is, it sounds like the Rebbe saying, it's not a person doing bedafka that he doesn't want to learn. It's the tiny state of Yitzhar is sneaky. So Yitzhar says to him, "You want to learn? What do you mean learning? First off, mincha. First, organize yourself. You have to come home. You have to set a time, figure it out. To make all these calculations that sound very real, but ultimately it's just to distract you from actually doing it." So who I did miyeches liyishuv oil, and so too the person that learns all day. You ask them, all your atzmais, all your being should be there. You'd be totally involved in the whole, all of you. Lo yamush, and you shouldn't forget it or anything like this. Doesn't get excited from all this. Allah time for all these crazy things. I need to rest. I need to wait, and then I need to calm down. I need to take a nap, and then I'll take care of this. Kain Allah lishmer atmai. Be careful with myself. I don't have to eat special foods, and different things. And essentially, what we're saying is, I'm nearly finished. Ba'ashliach, and it's written in Ashlich. Va'al derech zeh b'shas Rambam, so too b'shas Rambam. Shemayachel ma'adonim es amoyach. Nachem ken yishel moed. Says eating good food. We and nowadays for sure we're so much blessed with the ability of having plenty of food. So certain foods you eat is good for you, and it makes a difference in your learning. First, let me eat properly like a man, and it's all these excuses, and the next thing you know, the day's finished, and then the next day comes, and you say, I want to learn, I should learn, but the excuse the Yitzhar comes, keeps on going, keeps on coming with all these excuses, and that gets us in the way. And so what we're learning is we have to learn how to get over these things. And tomorrow, Mr. Hashem will finish up this idea and how it ties back. It's what we said in the beginning about being in the desert and dafka in the desert and things like that. Have an amazing day.